Gladiator 2 is out right now, or is it? I know it is in the UK. Next week for the US audience, but we got to see it a bit early. Are you doing what I think you're going to do? Because I'm going to do it too. So...
We went to go see it in IMAX, and we got an IMAX poster.
Yeah, we got these.
We haven't gotten one of these for years.
Very cool IMAX posters when we go. I do like it when the viewer does stuff like that, Kyle. They haven't done it in years. I think the last one we got was The Last Jedi in 2017.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Very long time ago.
But yeah, IMAX exclusive poster. Very cool.
Yeah.
But apart from peppering us up with some nice gifts, first thing I want to say is, if you're going into this film expecting it to be as good as the first Gladiator, it ain't got no on that. But
first off, Callum, are we doing spoilers here? Or
no,
we're doing no spoilers
because it's not out in America yet, so I don't really want to spoil it. Like I said,
that's fair.
This film isn't as good as the first Gladiator. Is it a worthy successor? Yes. Is it a good film? Yes. I enjoyed every second of it. But if you're expecting it to be as good as the first one, I think you're a little bit lost, because Ridley Scott has been a bit hit or miss lately. And I'll say this. I think this is his best film he's done since The Martian in 2015. So, yeah, let's just get into it, Kyle.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Performances in this, right away. Denzel Washington steals every scene he's in. We knew that were going to happen from the early reactions. Everyone was saying, Denzel Washington is the man in this. And he was great. Every second he was on screen, you didn't know what he were going to be doing. You didn't know what he were plotting, until you do know what he were plotting. Pedro Pascal in this as well, though. I don't think he got enough love from these early reactions and reviews I've seen. I think Pedro Pascal was great in this. Everyone were great in it, but I think Pedro was very good in this as well. He really stood out to me.
Yeah, it just didn't get enough screen time for me. That's all it is. I wanted more of Pedro and his character, but his character did serve a purpose, and if you really look at it, he actually got more time than the character needed. But still, it's nice to see Pedro, and I never not want Pedro.
Yeah, always want Pedro, and obviously from Pedro, let's go to Joseph Quinn, because we were talking about how weird it is that we've got this early Fantastic Four reunion in this before. Joseph Quinn was great as well. I don't know who the person was who played his twin brother, but
I'm not sure either.
They were good as well. But all this relies on the shoulders of Paul Mescal being a good lead as well. None of this works if Paul Mescal isn't good in this film, and he's great.
Yeah.
So it's all right going, oh, Denzel's amazing, Pedro's amazing. Paul Mescal's got to be good in this. He's got to be great. Otherwise, none of it works. You've got to believe him as this lead. You've got to believe him as Lucius, and he's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And from what I've seen him in the past, he was in a show called Normal People. There's someone else. I think it's the. Let me just check this now. So, if I'm not mistaken,
you are mistaken.
The Daisy Edgar Jones. I'm pretty sure she was in the show with him. Yeah, she was. So. It's really cool to see these two characters have got two big films coming out, after watching that series a couple of years ago, because that series was really good. It was strange, it was a little bit depressing, but I don't know, I just thought it would fun to watch these characters and watch them sort of grow.
Yeah.
But going into this, I was very, very much looking forward to it, because I've been waiting to see this guy pop up in something else that sort of intrigued me. Not that he hasn't done stuff in the past, I'm sure he has, but he's
very award circuit, isn't he? He's very award circuit. It's doing I
think so. Yeah.
Indies and stuff like that.
But in this, I think he did an excellent job. Obviously, spoilers, I guess, not really, but he obviously plays as Maximus's son.
It's in trailer, so
it's in the trailer, yeah. So it's not really a spoiler, but yeah, he does a good job of sort of portraying this lost Well, I can't say that, but he plays this his son, and he's very much like disconnected from that,
Yeah.
and he just goes about being himself, but at the same time, especially towards the
And we've lost Kyle.
much dream. The action was amazing. I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
Action
There
was
we are.
amazing.
So yeah, definitely the action was amazing. I wanted to go into that. You know, there's a lot of physical movement that a lot of these people are doing. You know what I mean? Like these guys are not. You know, it's a bit slower than I would have liked, but it's definitely got that. It's heavy. You can feel it's
Yeah.
heavy every time someone goes to hit something or, you know, someone gets knocked down. It feels heavy and brutal, and you know, there's not much gore in it, but there is gore in this film.
Yeah, I wanted to just say that. The gore isn't overused, it's there, you know, when you'd expect it to be there. You know, you see something like The Boys and everything, which I love The Boys, everything is overly gory. Deadpool and Wolverine, for example, as well. Just, you know, I wouldn't say it's too gory, but just the mass amount of blood and stuff like that you get in it, it's a lot. But the gore's there when it needs to be there. What I also said to you in the cinema, this was, I think within the first 20 minutes or so, I said, this feels very 2000s, but in a good way. It feels like this was shot the year after the first Gladiator, in a good way.
Yeah, I will say this, like some of the CGI elements stood out a little bit to me, and they looked a bit not great.
Yeah.
There was like a little bit where it was literally like an underground area, and there was some rats, and you can tell none of that was real. There was some elements of it that felt very, very fake, but you know, it was amazing to see these big spectacles that happen in the arena. Obviously, I won't spoil any of the action set pieces, but there's some great spectacles, especially from the opening scene. The opening scene is a big battle, and it looks amazing. I just wish that battle lasted a bit longer for me, at least.
Yeah,
But
it's over before it
film.
starts, really.
Yeah, it is a lengthy film though, so I get why they sort of like can't go into it too much. But I personally would have much preferred having a smaller fight being taken out and have that the first opening battle extended just a little bit.
Yeah.
Visually, like Callum, you said, I thought the exact same thing. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I genuinely thought, wow, this looks like an old school type of film.
And
it looks,
feels
you know,
like it as
2000s.
well.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like it.
You're right. It does feel like it was shot right after the first one. It does feel very much like it's just they've gone to make this second film, but it's not. It's years and years later. So it was really cool that they managed to nail that down and get it good. Get it feeling like a Gladiator film, if you want to say that. Another thing I want to say as well, we went to go see it in IMAX. Obviously, we see most films where we can, if we can see it in IMAX, we will see it in IMAX.
It's the best theatre just right next to us, so it makes sense we see everything in there. Because all the other ones in there, there's either a speaker out or the sound, you know, it's just the one that's maintained the best.
Or if you like us and, you know, going to see, I don't know, what was the film we went to go see?
We see a lot of films. We see a lot of films, Kyle.
No, we went to go see it at 9 in the morning. Come on, you remember. You're saying, no, it's just because you're saying there's sometimes a speaker out, the sound isn't great, whatnot. And then we went to go see a film at 9 in the morning, and there was no one else in there.
A Quiet Place, day one.
Was it A Quiet Place?
I don't know.
I don't know what it was, but we went to go see a film in the morning. It probably was Deadpool and Wolverine, or something like that. And there was no screen. The screen wasn't on in the IMAX.
Yeah, it was A Quiet Place. Yeah.
Was it A Quiet Place?
Yeah.
But you know, Joseph Quinn, he really sort of like surprised me, because you look at him in A Quiet Place, and he seems like a very, you know, terrified young man that's, you know, going through this event. And in this, it's just like he's shifted the tone entirely. He's not like yeah, he's fucking nuts, but he's kind of got this thing about him that's like he's just kind of aggressive, and he's very He's young still, and he's kind of he's pretty much evil, but it was great to see him as well. The style of it, I think, as well, just the way the movie sort of was done. So I'll rephrase that. So the pacing of the film, it helped with the type of story they wanted to tell. I think, you know what I mean. Like there was enough fights in there to feel satisfied. There wasn't just like three, like a beginning, middle, end. There was some little fights here and there. The cast, like you say, was phenomenal in all the fights as well. So there's a lot here going for it.
There's one thing I want to say as like a criticism, because I don't know if you could tell or not. We actually really, I probably say I love this film. It's one of my favourite of the year. One thing I do want to criticise it on is in the original Gladiator, you see Maximus get to know his Gladiator brothers, and you feel a bit more connected to them as characters. I'd say his Gladiator brothers in this, Paul's, there's no real emotional connection. There's one character in the fighting pit who he's close with, but they're not a gladiator. So you'd kind of want more connection there to his Gladiator brothers. But, like I said, this isn't as good as the first Gladiator. But I'd say the first Gladiator to me is a 10 out of 10. I love that film. I watch it all the time. But yeah, I'd have liked a little bit more emotional connection there to his...
See, I agree with you on that. I think the emotional connection wasn't there for
But there's more of an interesting B plot to this one than there was in the first. Because I feel like when I'm watching the first, I'm like, just get me to Maximus. But in this, they do a really good job of going, you're rooting for Pedro Pascal, but you're rooting for Paul Mescal's character. You've seen in the trailers, though, and you know they're coming to this point. So you kind of conflicted the whole way through the film.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's a great way to put it. You are rooting for both of these characters, and both are really good on screen, and you want to see more of them. My criticism, obviously, I can't really say because it will spoil it, but
just
my criticism is... whisper it. My biggest criticism is towards the end of the film. It felt a little strange, like it felt it could have been done a bit better.
Yeah, it felt like it stopped and started again.
Yeah, like if they did a third one where it revolves around what kind of happens and what goes on towards the end of the film.
Ridley Scott's got a script for.
I think, yeah.
I'd want to see it now.
I'm fine with this now. I'm happy with where they left it. I feel like they've capped it off really nicely. If they do a third one, I don't think I'm really going to be looking forward to it because they've capped it off. It could have been done better. The ending could have been done better. There were some elements where I'm like, because everyone is telling Paul's character, Lucius, that he's got this rage in him, and he's you got to use that and keep going. And then there was like the element of like he's not really sort of like about that. He's not wanting to follow Maximus in that sense. He's just kind of, and then when it comes to the ending point, I'm like, that could have been done a little bit better. That could have been done, it wouldn't have been too much of a shock, but it would have been like, yeah, just a lot of deaths in this as well. Don't get too attached. Let's just say that.
some good ones as well.
Yeah.
So especially the ones in the fighting pit. But yeah, and like I said, another criticism, it's not too much of a criticism of what I'd say is it definitely follows very similar beats to the first film. But I think watching the trailers and stuff, like, that going in. I kind of expected it. Watching it, I was like, yeah, this is going to be not shot for shot, not a remake, but it's going to be, we're going to follow similar beats to capture that nostalgia, but we're also going to do our own thing as well at the same time, which they do. It's a very similar but different film from the first one.
It's got a bigger budget on it, so they can do more of these bigger battles in the Gladiator pit. So
it did a lot of things he wanted to do in the first one in this.
Yeah.
Like flood the Colosseum, the Rhino. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, overall, I think, to kind of cap the year off, we're up to a great start of like finishing the year. I'd even say
I want to say something. Was this shot on IMAX?
no, there wasn't a single
It wasn't, was
IMAX,
it?
not a single IMAX shot in there, but
It looked good on the IMAX screen, though. I mean,
yeah,
it had the aspect ratio of a normal, uh, sort of cinema screen, I guess, but it looked really good in IMAX. So I still would say go see this in IMAX, despite it not being shot. I mean, it is on the poster. Just saying,
oh that
this nice shiny poster.
that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
mine's
where I'm gonna
better.
put it because I'd like if they give us some like full size ones. These are just little. I might put it in my office at work, but
I like the smaller ones, to be honest. I don't
yeah.
like the full size ones. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, mine's better though. I've had mine longer.
Yeah, Kyle had his longer because Kyle has this FOMO, so he picked it up before going in. I was like, why? They'll be there when you get out. And he was like, well, what if they're not? And it's like, we've done it before. We took him in going into the film, and we're just nursing him the whole film, just like, don't crease, don't crease. But yeah, there was some there
Yeah,
when we
just
got
kinda
out.
stuck on the table. Yeah.
But Kyle, if you had to rate this film out of 10, what are you saying?
I I would say it's somewhere between. I don't know. I'm kind of bouncing between a 7.5 to an 8.
You're going a lot
I think
lower
we'll
than
go
me
with an
then.
8. I think I'm going with an 8.
All right, that's good. I'm going to go 8.5 for this. Look, it's not as good as the first, but the first is up there. Like, up there, up there. But
There is some pacing issues, I think.
yeah, but it's a worthy successor. If you like the first one, you're going to be able to, I think, mostly enjoy this one. And just watch it and be like, oh yeah, sweet. That was a cool, fun movie. And sometimes that's all you need, but there is more to that as well. There is layers. So,
I
definitely
do want to
say
say
8.5.
one quick thing.
No.
I never used to be bothered about it back, when I used to see films years ago and whatnot. But I kind of understand why now people really hate it. It's the opening text, the bit of dialogue to tell you where we're at in the story. It's like, you shouldn't need to do that. The film should do that anyways.
I liked
If you
it.
want, if you want, do something where it's like just a 16 years later or something like that, or a location. That's all. That's all the text I ever want to see in a film. I'd be fine with. I don't want to be reading something and seeing where we're at the start of the film, because it's a long film. It's got plenty of time to show these elements of what it's saying. Because
You wouldn't say that if it was a Star Wars film.
well, the opening crawl for that is iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Rogue One. That didn't need it.
But,
Yeah.
it's... And that's, I think, going into my thing, feels very 2000s. It gets people locked in right away. It's like, right, this is what's happening. Because not everyone can follow the show me, don't tell me sort of stuff. Some people need to be told. And I think you tell them, it locks them in right away. Because how many times have you sat down watching films with people and they go, so when's this set? Is this before or after? Is this, we were watching the John Wick trailer, the ballerina trailer in this before it came on, and what would Wayne go? Wayne just looked at us and just went, "Is that John Wick's daughter?" Just like, it's like, no. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, definitely an 8.5 for me. Let's say Kyle give it a 9, and
No, 8.
8. Right, guys, that'll do. Let us know what you thought of Gladiator 2 down below. Me and Kyle really enjoyed it. We got some nice IMAX posters. Kyle's already taking out his headphones. He's ready to go. So, yeah. We're going to go play some Black Ops 6 Zombies. If you want to play with us, let us know, and maybe we'll carry you to a high round, because we're the fucking best Zombies players in the world.
Yeah, only to 15 though. Can't go higher.
Yeah, it can't go higher than 15 because it's so hard. Right, thanks for watching, and see you on Monday, maybe?